Ale, 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 Footy Museum, ale, ale. Hey, welcome to the Footy Museum and the Footy Museum podcast. I am Justin Whitty, and I am officially the co-director of this here Footy Museum. And I'm joined by, as my Opa used to do, is this here Footy Museum. And I am joined by the other co-director, Maria Van Dyken Lee, whose name covers 3 different languages. Oh, Maria, happening? How are you doing today? I also did that introduction because today we are reviewing some of the best fan engagements, choreos, tifos, banners of 2023, at least the best that we could find in one afternoon of searching.
That's the level of research we do for this podcast.
Oh, but we love it. We love it so much. How are you, Maria?
I'm great.
That's good.
This is very exciting. I have had so many cookies. I'm all sugared up. I'm ready to go.
My amazing partner, Olivia,
friend of the pod,
it has a passion for baking this time of year, and she makes a wide variety of delicious but very highly sugared cookies, and Maria may crash at some point during this punch. If you see her head just go down. But let's get right to it. So I'll start.
Okay.
And I'm going to start in one of my favorite.
Wait, what are we talking about today?
I already did best fan actions, interactions.
I'm a good listener.
And what I did is I actually kind of broke mine up into the best and then kind of talking about another category. I didn't do worst because I'd say if you try, you try. So we're sticking with the best. You know, Google bad fan action if you want to see poorly. There's
really
plenty
the worst
of it.
When it comes to fan action. When it's bad, it's
really bad.
So we don't need we
Go
know.
check our Serbia episode.
We don't. If you're really gonna do the worst of the worst, it's not.
No need to go there.
Let's keep it light.
So I'm gonna start in this one of my favorite stadiums in the world is where is the setting for what I'm going to talk about first, and that is the San Siro Stadium, home to Inter Milan and AC Milan. Actually, now known as the Giuseppe Meazza, but I think most people still call it the San Siro. It is a remarkable. One of the first modern stadiums with those spiral staircases and the towers. So from the interior, you see these great towers in the corner and this really unique floating top, which is very stage-like. And they do have big concerts there. And it also makes it ideal for tifo, choreo, everything. It's just fantastic. And I'm going to focus on AC Milan, does some of the best in Europe. I was kind of turned onto it by someone on Threads who pointed me to it, and then I went down a rabbit hole, and they've done some absolutely amazing activations this year. And I was specifically looking at some of the ones they did during Champions League. So this is, this is actually Milan versus Inter from this year. And first of all, you can see just pre-match the atmosphere just seems crazy. To me, what's crazy is the second tier, the supporters in the second tier.
Yeah.
Your normal fireworks, that's like a fire game. Your Chicago Fire. But I love how high the roof of that stadium floats over. It's very theatrical somehow, and then you get that old arch underneath, and then the light effect is fantastic. Now look at this, just complete the entire stadium. The coordination is fantastic, and then they also have amazing graphics that support it. And I love how the video boards kind of coordinate with it. So really great example. I mean, it's nothing. We don't have anything like this in the States.
No.
I mean, can you imagine being a player, walking out into that, being, I don't know, Christian Pulisic, maybe?
Can you imagine how many rings you would close on your Apple Watch? Putting all of the pieces of paper into the right spot.
Oh. While you think about that, I want to show one more from this past year that was just really fantastic. So this was just from November 7th. There you can see those great towers in the corner. This was Matrix themed.
Oh, love it.
Isn't that great? And they even take the time, like for the walkways or other areas, to print out fabrics. You have the Champions League trophy on one end, and then on the other, it says something Milan.
Probably something in support of Milan.
I mean, just this is. I mean, there they have it better together there at the Matrix. I love how when they do activations this size, how it dwarfs everything else in the sense of scale change and just the excitement really from the start. So my choice really for top, I'm going to give it to Milan, even though they have, that must be the PSG fans up there with their flares. You wouldn't get away with that in MLS.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't get away with that in MLS.
But you wouldn't get away with much in the MLS.
They allow those there, though, right? Those are permitted.
I don't know the rules. I think maybe not so strictly reinforced. So that's really like my top point. But there were so many to choose from. I was looking at Olympic Marseille, really fantastic. A lot of the Polish teams, really strong stuff. St. Pauli, Dortmund, so many great supporters groups. Partially because Pulisic's over there, I'm watching more of those games and a little tuned in, but also because I really love that stadium and that setting.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So 2 weeks in a row, we kind of sticking with Italy with top kits and oh boy, they far. And then the other thing I want to talk about was focus domestically, because earlier this week we talked about in our review of the weekend the sad state of the top level of MLS, and it's especially sad because supporter culture is really taking root in a lot of these teams, and some of the tifos we've seen this year. Really fantastic. Here is an image from the rigging test from Cincinnati after they had won the Supporter Shield. Supporter Shield meaning the team that finishes the season with the best record. In most leagues, that team would just be the champion.
Not in here.
But here,
unless we have
the playoffs with different levels and rounds. So really, FC Cincinnati are the champions of Major League Soccer. And this was to honor that championship. And it says, from the depths we rise, because the previous 3 seasons they had been in last place.
See, anything's possible if you just believe.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Cincinnati, ironically, a team that used to be a USL team. Like a lot of MLS teams came up from that system awareness, just saying, and I know that their fans are not happy about the decisions made about the Open Cup that we talked about earlier this week. But I think for MLS is yet to do those activations we saw in Milan. The supporter groups are given supporter privileges by the league. We're very restricted about where they can operate. But the scale of this is not something you normally see. You see in Portland maybe a lot. I think the colors, the composition, and the story of that team this year, even though I hated always watching them beat the Fire. And it's not that I don't like watching the Fire lose, because I'm very used to that. It's just something about that. But I thought this one was great. But also I really enjoyed the Columbus Crew in the championship MLS Cup, the one and only original black and gold. Not only a comment on LAFC, but kind of a sticking in the eye of MLS, who tried to move them out of Columbus. So shout out to them. Also, 2 great stadiums. Portland always brings it, both with the Timbers and the Thorns, which we have talked about in the past. Here's one from their game against Seattle this year. Scary stories to tell in the park, collected from Cascadia Folklore and retold by the mighty PTFC. Drawings by the Timbers Army. Again, like the Thorns, and I know there's a collaboration, a lot of detail in their tifos.
Yeah, tons of detail.
If you want to go back to that episode where we talked to Kay from the supporters group there, we talk about how Providence Park really has also a great setting for tifos. So I want to give a shout out to Portland. And then, of course, Austin always brings it. And I got to give, look at this little We got a little StreamYard link in that circle. Sorry, Beth. Our friend Beth.
Ignore the link.
We are not always the most professional, but Austin always brings it. And a friend of the pod here, Beth Smith, worked on and designed.
She designed this one.
Yeah. So shout out to Beth. So that's really the top I want to talk about. Really, I think the top level, Milan's up there with those two other teams I mentioned. I want to go shout out to what's starting to happen here in the U.S. too, especially in light of recent news.
It's hard to compare those Champions League European ones to MLS teams, but MLS really, like, people are on board. People enjoy making these tifos, and it's really become part of the culture of.
The fans are committed. The fans are ready.
Yeah.
As if the league was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
Institutions, man.
Institutions, man. Yeah, stick it to the other man. All right. Maria, what are we looking at? Again, we return to
Europe. You can't, I mean, like, if we're going to talk about best supporter activations, you cannot ignore Dortmund.
No, I mean, they are.
This was absolutely incredible. This was in a Champions League match against Chelsea. The tifo is 3 parts. So it's people creating the ray pattern in the stands with paper in their seats. And then there's a whole earth that the
entire globe.
A whole globe focused on Europe. And
that's not an accurate globe.
No.
I've seen globes ever since I was a child, and it's Maine, Florida, California, and then like off in the corner a little bit of England.
And Greenland is the same size as Africa.
That's my only criticism of this globe.
So with that part, they like ran that up the stands so it's on top of everybody and their hands are holding it. And then they do the pulley and hoist the main figure, which is a Dortmund fan facing
traveling the world, and in his backpack is that flares?
I think it's a can of beer and some flares.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Yeah. So, and then the words in German or in English, translated for German are, and every time it was all worth standing by your side, the journey will always go on, which is like a little schmaltzy. Whoa, is somebody dying? Like, what's going on here?
I'm just tearing up because that's what Olivia and I say to each other each night before we go to bed. In German, in
the original German, of course.
Anyone listening who doesn't see this, because it's called the wall at the Dortmund Stadium, the yellow wall, and it's this very steep section behind the goal where the supporters are, and it steeply slopes away. So that's like where the rays and the earth are. And then the figure goes straight up vertically.
So it's this great dimension. And that's what they can achieve.
It's like a 60-foot high figure, 60, 70 feet. It's
at
massive.
Least. Yeah, at least. The scale is unbelievable.
Not just on a square, it's cut to shape. So it must be on some sort of transparent, or they must have it rigged because it's perfect. There's no folds or anything.
I have a video of this too if we want.
So here we are.
You can just see the scale better and like with how long it takes to bring everything up.
So first the text layer.
Yeah, that's the banner at the bottom with your marriage vows. And then the rays.
I love how the rays slowly appear because of people slowly like, hey, it's time to turn the card up.
I don't know, maybe they could coordinate that a little bit better, but it is kind of like, what? And then the music is playing like the theme, the pomp and circumstance or whatever.
I think it's no coincidence too that this and Milan are also in 2 of the most famed stadiums in Europe as well. Maybe one leads into the other, Okay, so that's it, right? A great raise.
No,
wait, what's happening? So they're going to pass the globe back.
The Earth is rising.
Oh my gosh!
Because Dortmund is also flat earthers.
Maria, you accidentally shared your flat Earth YouTube video. Oh.
You're gonna get weird ads.
And we just want to remind you. If the world were round, I wouldn't be able to see Maria right now. Okay? She'd be on the other side. All right? And when I look across the street, I can see the house. So Just like Dortmund fans think the world is flat, as proven.
But it's
here.
also on a slight slope. And so that's why
a little crumply.
That's why your coffee table is always.
Do you mind if I speed that up a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going
Because
to
this
go.
bit, just imagine it passing over
slowly.
hundreds of people.
Okay, we get here.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Oh, yeah. So you can see that is on a mesh. That's how they do that.
But
it's a good painting, too.
Yeah. I think it's kind of
fairly well rendered.
Incredible the amount of time they give for them to do this, because in MLS, they describe it as a number, like a couple.
Well, again, MLS
minutes, seconds.
Fans are an annoyance there, but they understand that this is part of the whole, and none of this is shown in the broadcast. You know what I mean? This is just in
exclusive to stadium.
Maybe they'll show a footage of it once it's up, but
the actual the
10
video
has much more detail than that photo you showed. It's just the depth is really, and just think of the scale of this project, and they work on it over weeks. This one probably months once they knew the schedule, but. And it's collaborative and it's ambitious and it's massive. It's just massive. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that's like best tifo
Good
of the year.
Good choice. That's your choice for best tifo. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with that.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got next on this slideshow though? Oh, and I want to give a shout out to the fans for this action that they did. We talked about this before, this Champions League protest. But we can move on.
In the same game where they refused to charge Newcastle above normal prices.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which is great.
They threw some stuff on the field, which is a little bit like, okay, we didn't have to do it. Well, I understand, but
yeah, at least it wasn't teddy bears. Yeah, it's fine.
So we also mentioned this before in our Turkey podcast. This is one done.
Not our Thanksgiving, our Country of Turkey podcast. Not the annual gobble run on the Footy Museum.
Turkey trot. No, this.
No, it's the gobble run.
Okay,
it just sounds better. Turkey trot. Who's ever said turkey trot?
I've never run one and I will never run one, so I don't know and I don't care. But this is by Trabzonspor, a Turkish club, and this was to honor the first responders after those earthquakes. So I want to shout out to
the Turkish national team there was a great one in a Turkish national game after that too, where they had like a map of Turkey and I believe highlighting players who had died
I remember that. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so that's I don't have a video for this one, but just wanted to highlight that as one of the more impactful, like current events ones of the year. Okay, so this one you don't see much from English football.
You don't.
So because
they're also very quiet fans.
Yeah, they're quiet fans. They have a lot of rules, which makes sense after the hooliganism and stuff. So, but this was one in honor of Harry Kane for his record breaking at Spurs, and I thought that was kind of a nice moment. So that was his 267th goal.
It wasn't begging Prince Harry to move back to England.
It was secretly what it was. No.
I think he's happy though. He is tearing it up in the Bundesliga. So
I mean,
and he has Lederhosen.
That's probably why he's tearing it up.
Because they play.
You can move much better. That type of material.
when it's just one big uni. The things you can do.
You don't have to worry about your pants falling down.
Speaking of jury, did you see that Dortmund save that was going around online against PSG?
I don't think so, no.
It was this perfect pass into Mbappe, who got out behind the defense.
I did see that.
Oh, and he looked like he was just going to easily score it, and this Dortmund defender flies in and saves. Oh,
that was incredible.
I'm clearly up on all the this game with these players, and it was like, whoa. Anyway, this is
cool.
This is a good one, and it highlights their beautiful, like, modern stadium.
Yeah,
as well.
It's so clean.
Yeah, so clean.
So Tottenham.
So ready for American football.
Yeah. All right.
Tottenham everything about him is very clean, isn't it?
Okay, so this one I wanted to highlight because we don't talk about Africa a lot.
No, we should more.
This is Wydad Casablanca in their African Champions League match against Simba from Tanzania. It's very cool. And this was a 3-part tifo, and I want to play the video of this because the coordination on this is so insane. It's a Dragon Ball Z tifo, which is also very fun. So I sent you that video.
Okay. Pulling it up. Here we go.
The coordination is absolutely insane.
Oh, That all went up exactly at the same time.
And
oh,
yeah.
How do you think they're doing that? Like,
I think they just have incredible captains to do this. But like, think about Dortmund, who's like,
oh man,
some of the like,
and the mapping for that, the gridding out is really that's an excellent.
But comparing to how Dortmund slowly flipped all of their, and they only had one thing to do.
Well, judging by the guy's backpack, they'd already drank that can of beer. So they were like,
but the coordination from Wydad was like, what? And it works so well with something as kind of precise and exact as an anime cartoon. So the Dragon Ball Z just being like, whoa. It's very cool.
Very good
Very
ones.
cool.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Bravo. I wasn't expecting Spurs.
No, I came across that and I remembered when they did that and how it kind of gave me the warm fuzzies when they did. And you never see anything from England, so I wanted to do what they did.
It's usually smaller banners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably right because of all the rules they have. Because it's like the English go too far one way when it got play.
You just gotta reel it back in, guys.
Oh. It is sad though because you get like the City game this weekend. The atmosphere at the Etihad is like it's sleepy. It's like everyone just like, oh, good. I'm glad that happened. You know what I mean? It's just.
Then again, I get a little bit nervous whenever somebody's too excited.
Just in general.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like at the beginning of the podcast.
Calm
down. Was that it? Was that all you had to share with us?
Oh no, there was one more thing.
Oh, okay. That is a great shot.
Okay.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, that's and the
I wonder what that
contrast
building is on the coast there. It's interesting.
Probably some type of it's Casablanca, so some type of colonial something.
Oh, downer.
Anyways, look how cool their badge is.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that.
That is a good badge.
That's.
Did you happen to read why the 3 stars on bottom and 2 on top is just how they broke it up? Or
No,
is it different
I'm not
reasons?
sure. Maybe it's different
I'll have to
ones.
look into that.
Yeah.
I do like that badge.
I don't
Well done.
them.
I'm going to have to look up this club. All right. Oh, well, that's great. Those were really fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was after our talk earlier this week, it's good to talk about some fan things because there are no fans trying to close off the sport from each other.
Oh my gosh.
So those were really, really fun. And I think it's a great way. I love these little reviews we did at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we should start the new year with talking about new things. And one of the new things that everyone's talking about this year is, can you guess?
Is everybody talking about my tight pants?
Everyone's talking about your tight pants. And a lot of people are talking about the Spanish club Girona, who briefly in different points was at the top of La Liga this year, a team that just, I think 2 years ago was in a lower division. And I don't know much about them, and you don't know much about them. So we're going to start the new year with kind of a deep dive into their design and history and learn about Girona. They're currently in second.
My Girona.
We won't do that. But perspective, right?
Yes,
as
we
of
will.
today, as of today, the standings in La Liga are Real Madrid at 42 points, Girona at 41, and then Barcelona all the way down at 35, Atletico at 34. So it is a battle between Girona and Real Madrid. So I can't wait to learn more about this club. So we'll be back in the new year to talk about that and also share our recap on everything that happens between now and then.
Do you have any predictions for the end of the year?
I predict that MLS will do nothing about fan outrage relating to that and introduce yet another Noche d'Or style tournament. But
the tournament is only 90s style penalty kicks.
The tournament is just a cage match versus Chicharito, Carlos Vela, and Messi. No, that's not right. And the event is actually a Saudi-funded golf tournament against all the DPs in the league, hosted by Christian Bale. Christian Bale.
Why Christian Bale?
I always do that. Gareth Bale. I always call him Christian Bale. With Christian Bale in attendance.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. My other prediction is more Leeds and PSV wins. And there's going to be, even though this is a league I'm really not happy with right now, there's going to be a lot of league news for MLS in terms of transfers and new players. And we'll see what's going
Transfer window everywhere, man.
with that. And it also means we'll be 2 weeks closer to Emma Hayes taking over the national team, which I can't wait for. She is going to be just such a historical figure for
Superstar.
U.S. soccer. I can't wait until she's actually on the sideline. So that'll be great. How about you? Any predictions?
No, I don't have any predictions.
No predictions. Okay.
I predict we all have a very happy Christmas.
I hope we have a happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and everyone stay safe. And yeah, that's it. Ale, 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 ale.